Based on the story of Lee Collins, a war veteran and grandmother who reclaimed her dignity. Kalimes, 70 small and bundled in an old coat, sits alone by a large window overlooking the runway. Her weathered hands hold a paper cup of steaming coffee. She stares straight ahead, steel in her gray eyes. Behind her, we hear the fading sound of footsteps, two adult pairs, one adolescent disappearing down the corridor. Lee opens a small envelope with stiff fingers. Inside 3/4, 2 dimes and a folded note, reading aloud quietly. You're not really coming. Enjoy the coffee. Maybe read a magazine. You'll be more useful here. Don't call. Don't wait. She takes a sip of the burning coffee, drinks it anyway. Samil or Kalayansa 45 Lee's son scrolls his tablet at the breakfast table. Rasa Kalames 4 tears. His wife pours herself a smoothie, her movements sharp and deliberate. Sarash, their daughter, sits with earbuds in. Srosa, well, at least we'll have more legroom. Leave as she giggles, glancing at Miller, who chuckles behind his napkin. Ash softly. You mean me? Osrasaos, waving dismissively. Oh. Don't be so sensitive, it's just an expression. Lee nods silently, then begins clearing their dishes. Lee searches through a safe hidden behind unused coats. Her manila folder, the one containing the house deed, is missing. Tichtararian 37 is, now a successful lawyer in a navy blazer, sits across from Leah. His kind face shows concern as she speaks. And I need your help, Thomas. I want to transfer ownership of the house, not to Miller, not to Rosa, but to something that can never betray me. Tak Mas, do you have something in mind? Lee pulls out a folder filled with articles about women's shelters and ecological programs. Ears call it the Grandmother's Endowment for Ecological Justice. Let it be a haven for women like me, the ones who were erased, belittled, discarded. Thomas reads through her notes, tears forming in his eyes. Hatho must say, I think that's the most beautiful cause I've ever heard. Leah signs papers with steady hands. The deed transfer is official, ironclad, irrevocable. Lee closes the manila folder containing the signed deed and places it back in her purse. She stands, no longer waiting. To her reflection in the window, they think I am excess baggage, but I am the one thing they cannot carry, cannot bury, cannot leave behind. A taxi pulls up. Miller, Rosa and Sarah drag dusty luggage up the stone path, sunglasses still on their foreheads. Miller tries his keys. They don't work. Pismel Ears, did you change the locks before we left? Srasar, why would I change the locks? You had the keys. Sarah notices a brass plaque mounted on the gate. Seko reading aloud, property of the Grandmother's Endowment for Ecological Justice. Authorized use only. Rosa steps back, color draining from her face. Srasas, what the hell is this? Lee stands behind the lace curtain, watching. She opens the door and steps outside. You're supposed to be at the airport. Cheshire I was. Then I came home. Says the confused grandma, we thought you'd be gone by now. We needed a vacation. La made gently, and now you have a permanent one from this house and from the heart that built it. Miller stares at her in disbelief. Asmel you did this. I protected what was mine and what was never yours to steal. Rosa lunges toward the steps, eyes wild. Arasa, you ungrateful! After everything we've done for you! Ali Eshgar calmless, I have more company now than I ever did with you in it. Asmel voice trembling, Mom, please, let's just talk. You could have told me. Haser told you. Like the way you told me this house was still my home right before laughing when she called me a fossil. She pauses, her voice growing stronger. Vic Hauntedi, I was always quiet, and you mistook that for weakness. But silence is not the same as surrender. A police officer supervises as Sarah collects her belongings. The room has been cleared of family photos and personal items. Lee stands on her porch as the family prepares to leave. Rosa paces like a caged animal. This house will now serve women like me, forgotten, silenced, dismissed. They will sit where you sat, but with respect. They will sleep where you mocked me, and they will rest. That is the only legacy this place will carry now. She closes the door firmly, not dramatically but with finality. Lee leads a support group for elderly women. The room fills over weeks, 15 women, then 30. They discuss legal rights, share stories, find their voices. Says LEH to the group, this space belongs to no one and everyone. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. Lee stands before 200 people at the National Alliance for Elder Rights Conference. She wears a navy blue blouse with silver buttons. Hyort, they called me a burden, a fossil, a mistake that wouldn't disappear. But I was none of those things. I was the one who remembered everything they forgot. The audience stands in respectful silence as she finishes. Now converted to a foundation office, the room is filled with files labeled founding documents, volunteer interest, and elder women's rights. Lee sits at her desk, reading letters from women across the country. She pins a child's drawing above her workspace, a house surrounded by flowers with "Sef for Var" written in crayon. She makes jasmine tea and looks out the window at her garden, now tended by volunteers and filled with vegetables for the community. Hears voice over. They thought this abandonment was an ending. It was not. It was page 1. The Grandmother's Endowment for Ecological Justice continues to serve women in need. Rose's lawsuit was dismissed. The house remains a sanctuary, dedicated to the women who refuse to disappear.